People feel stuck, not because they lack ideas or drive, but because no matter how hard they push, they hit walls made of other people's limits. Team politics, slow decisions, cultural mismatches, outdated systems that strangle innovation. It's like running on a treadmill set by someone else's rules. You're burning out trying to outperform, outthink, outdo, but the collective moves slow, breaks hard, and mostly drags down even the best individual effort. There's a rage in that, knowing you could build, create, move mountains if only the system didn't keep chaining your hands. This is the raw conflict at the heart of productive individualism. You want freedom to act, to innovate, to lead, but you're boxed in by collective frameworks designed for stability, not speed. You're not alone if you feel that way. Everyone who's dared to break molds feels it. The problem isn't about working harder alone, it's about how to channel those individual sparks into bursts that crack through collective limits without getting crushed. And that feels impossible because most networks, most teams, even entire industries reward compliance and sameness over real, wild talent that pushes boundaries. Here's the cold truth. Individualism, by itself, is half a solution. Being the lone genius grinding in isolation just burns you out and wastes potential. And pure collectives, they blur identity, slow progress, and kill urgency. So how do you mix fire and fuel without blowing up? The answer is brutal and straightforward. Build your own operating system, an autonomous, sharp network of the few who get it, who refuse to settle, who know how to turn friction with the collective into leverage instead of loss. Stop trying to weave into existing structures expecting them to bend for you. They won't. Instead, seek out the exact few who share your hunger, your mentality, your refusal to settle for good enough. Those people aren't everywhere, they are rare. But when you find them, don't just collaborate. Design your own rules, your own protocols that respect individual freedom, but lock you together with fierce accountability and shared ambition. Build systems where expertise flows fast, decisions cut like a knife, and egos don't slow down the mission. That is how productive individualism shatters collective limits. Another brutal tip: kill the idea that freedom means doing everything your way. Real freedom in this context means choosing the right battles to fight as individuals inside a group, not endless turf wars that waste energy and time. It's about rigorously matching your unique strengths with the group's needs, and doing it with cold discipline. Don't just fixate on what you want to build. Focus on what the group actually needs next to move forward faster. That's where real power lives. If you don't, you'll just create noise and division. Never tolerate mediocrity or politics disguised as team dynamics. Watch for people who slow down progress under the cover of consensus or diversity, but don't drive results. Call it out openly and build ways to neutralize those drag effects without fracturing the core group. In these rare networks, trust and transparency are lifelines. If you can't be straight and hold each other accountable at every step, you're just itching for slow decay. And do not forget this: the key currency is connection, not numbers. The typical approach of grow big, then solve backfires. You want fewer, but better, sharper, more wired individuals whose interactions create exponential impact. Many founders and investors waste time chasing large groups when their breakthroughs come from a handful of the right people. Focus on sculpting those intense relationships, the ones where friction doesn't mean conflict, but fuel. Look outside your comfort zone. A network like this doesn't care about nationality, old loyalties, or inherited hierarchies. Your place is determined by what you build and who you bring along, not where you're from. That's a painful step for some, but desperately needed. Stop settling for local or familiar. Your challenge is global, your team must be equally borderless. This scaling of productive individualism requires crossing those borders to find hidden allies who speak your language of urgency and quality. Lastly, stop seeing capitalism as a dirty word or a shadow. Understand it as a tool that can serve transformation instead of maintenance. Align capital with those few who refuse the status quo and insist on making the impossible happen. Money should be fuel for rare individual breakthroughs inside a collective that knows how to multiply them. If you can't get capital to flow this way, your network will fracture or stall. If this sounds like too much, it's because it is. But those ready to overthrow collective inertia and lead with raw individual power inside a new kind of collective already know this path. The feeling of moving fast, breaking limits, not just grinding but winning, it's addictive because it's real. So get ruthless about where you invest your time and network. Find the few people who lift you, challenge you, push you without dragging you down. Build systems with clear rules that make individual work explode into collective progress. Focus relentlessly on outputs, not just effort. Transcend the old fences of nation or tribe by acting globally with sharp precision. And never stop reminding yourself your true freedom isn't in doing it alone, but in building the right alliances that let your individual fire blaze through the collective freeze. That's the answer. Now act on it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and open the featured link to discover more.